Hello everyone and welcome to this video on in-cell formatting or in-cell panel chart. So as the word itself denotes that we are going to create a chart within a cell itself. Instead of actually using the chart tool, we can even use some of the fonts and some characters to actually plot a very interesting chart. So I would like to display that kind of a chart. So for that, I will create a query. I'll call it in-cell panel chart. For this, give or compute the score or compute the index for the selected player for different parameters. So just explaining that aspect. For each factor or for each parameter, the index is computed as the percent rank of the player's values with respect to the entire country players numbers. So I need to find out the percent rank of the player of a particular players with respect to all in different parameters. So that's how that number gets computed, and based on that number I'll try to plot the chart in cell chart using some of the characters as well as some fonts of the Excel. And later on I can even think of use conditional formatting to create different colors. We'll come back to that. First we'll try to align our data on different parameters, try to get a particular scoring or an index for this person as a percentage rank and probably convert it into 100. So for that I need to set my data. So that's where I say for the player selected. So here I would keep it as in cell charts for the player selected. I'll take different parameters, matches. I'll not take many. Average, then strike rate, then I'll even take on the basis of boundaries, sixes, and also I'll take it on home away average. So on these 6 parameters, and I'll even call it total or overall, which I'll take as average of all these numbers. Now what I simply do is with respect to this matches, where does this selected person, how much over 100 can be given to this particular player. This we are trying to arrive at using the percent rank category or formula for this person with respect to the total set of people in the country. whosoever have played their matches. For that, the simple way I go with is I take equal to percent rank. It will tell me if the highest is given 100, what could be the weightage to this particular person. Okay, so the percent rank, it asks me for an array. So the array I would be giving in case of matches, I'll go to this player profiles, select this D column. Within this D column, I would like to find out the percentage rank, and then I have to give X of whom. So that should match this particular person, right? Of whom should be matching. So that's where I say match. You try to match this particular player. So select this dashboard and the name of the player, put a dollar around it. You try to find out the value. You have to give the index of that match, not this match. You have to give a value. So I say index of the same array again, because I have to point to a value corresponding to this player. So either this or something, some value corresponding to that player. So I'll say in that, now I'll match using the match function, because that will give me which row or column, which row data needs to be pulled out. So I'll say equate this value. In the match, I'll put F4, put a $C1, comma, the lookup array I would try to look up in the B column or A column of the player profiles, comma 0, an exact match. So with this, I simply get the match, and corresponding to that I'll get the row number, and row number where this player is matching. That row number I'll pull out from the player profiles D column to actually get the index value corresponding to that player, and that number is what I'll expose it to the percent rank function. So my formula looks fine. So that's where I end this formula, and this gives me an answer of 99.4. If required, I would even convert it into multiply it by 100 and even round it up to 2 decimals. So I can use various parameters for it, but yeah, I'm using the matches as the percent rank as a parameter to find the index of the person. So here I'll call this as parameter, and here I'll call it as index score for this person. So with respect to matches, he enjoys a 99.4 score over 100. The same logic I can apply to all the fields. So I'll simply copy the formula at various places. Now I'm not dragging it. I have copied the formula there and I'm pasting it at all. Now when it comes to average, I need to go with the F column. That's the only difference. So wherever I have used the D column, I'll change it to the F column. That's what will give me the score for this player with respect to. So he is being given a score of 95.9 with respect to the averages. Then with respect to the strike rate, which column contains the strike rate? The G column contains the strike rate for the player. So I'll write this as G column, and yeah, as per his strike rate, his score is only 62.9 with averages is done decent job, but when it comes to strike rate, it's a pretty less value. Similarly with home to away or away to home average. This is what we have actually computed. So this value is there as a part of away to home average is there as a part of J column. So I will transform this D colon D to J colon J, and I will get his score as 51.3 with respect to away to home kind of an average, and with respect to the boundaries is there I think in the K column and sixes in L column. So I'll simply change these again to K. Right, I have copied the same formula because the format is more or less the same in all these, and another K. So 74.5 with respect to boundaries, and probably I can find out with respect to sixes, which is in the L column. Yes, with respect to sixes, his score is 52.9, and I can even find out the average score, overall score, by taking a simple average of all these, which will give me something, and I can very well round it up to a specific value. Alright, this, okay, I have to round it to 1 decimal or 2 decimals. So I'll round it up to 2 decimals, 72.82. Now what I would simply try to do is plot these things as a part of my in-cell chart. So this one I'll highlight it, put the same format, right, and I'll write this as multi-dimensional or score performance scorecard. Alright, it's fitting much better. So here I'll take the parameters as they are mentioned here. Right, I'll take the performance parameters from this. I'll first point it to matches. I'll take them as it is. Yeah, everything is fitting. And this is the location where I would take the plotting of this chart. So this entire area should constitute to the 100%, and I can work it out accordingly. Yes. So here I'll simply use a formula. I'll simply say repeat. So I'll use one character which I would repeat those many times, which is nothing but this pipe character, which is there with a shift and a forward slash. This character from the keyboard, I'll use this under the quotes. This character, I would ask the system to repeat data settings and these many number of times. So that makes the data to be repeated those many times. But what I am observing here is the data is going too large, not getting plotted in a one single cell. So I want to change the font of that data. The better font to be used in this case is there's a font called Playbill. Very narrow, and what it does is, even in this kind, it looks as if the data is as if it looks like a bar chart. And if you think that your data is not fitting in that location, what you can do is multiply it by around 0.75 or something so that it can fit into that cell. Yeah, not outside. You try to multiply it inside by 0.75. You try to multiply it inside by 0.75 so that it plots much well within the scope. Right? Don't try to stretch it too much. Your other graphs may get disturbed. Yes, so now what you can very well do is you can drag this stuff. So you see that in different cases the numbers are plotted differently, and this is purely based on your cell formatting. And if required, if you think that these are not the fonts that are good, what you can very well do is you can use your own set of fonts or some other color. You can make it with this green colors or something which can make it look more attractive, right? And all you can also do is, yeah, let the border be not disturbed. A little bit adjustment should give a decent chart. Yeah, so the border, let it not be disturbed. And what you can very well think of doing in this case is you can actually plot with different colors. Probably the overall I can make it into red, green, yellow, red kind of stuff. If the overall, let's say, is less than 40, I'll make it red. 40 to 70, I'll have it yellow, and 70 plus, I'll have it green. So I can use conditional formatting to highlight that. So how do I make the conditional formatting here? Highlight cell rule, greater than 70, I'll say highlight it with a green color, a dark green color. I'll go into fill and I say dark green color. Or the font has to be made dark green color, sorry. Not the highlighting, because this is not a highlighted stuff. The font has to be in the dark green color. So let me delete this rule. Again, let me go back and apply the rule. Highlight cell greater than 70. You apply the rule. Again, custom format. Not the filling. You do the font. Make it as the green colored font. Right. Yes. So overall, there is a green colored font that has come up. The filling, let it not be green, only the font has to be green. So again, let me check what has happened. Conditional format, manage rule. Yeah, I don't need this rule. I'll delete this rule and I'll keep only the green font. Yeah, now this is looking better. And the same, I'll modify it. Highlight cell rules in between 40 and 70. I say fill the text with yellow color. So I'll say fill the text with yellow color, and I'll write one more rule. So just checking out with the rule, yes. And I'll add one more rule that if it is less than 40 or less than or equal to 40, I'll say less than 40, go with a red font. So I can very well get the stuff, and what I can also do is the topmost value. In this, only the topmost value, I'll say the top 10, I'll put it as top 1. Right? The top 1 here, yeah, this is actually a text. Even in our earlier case, I think the problem will come out. This is actually a text, it's not a value. So I think the rules which we have written regarding the conditional formatting, they will not work. So let me delete these rules. I'll write a new rule where I will write it based on the formula. I'll write it based on the formula. So I'll say use this formula. This value greater than 70. If this value is greater than 70, fill the font with a green color. This makes a lot of meaning. You cannot use references to other worksheets or workbooks for conditional formatting criteria. Yeah, this is what they have as a problem. Alright. So what you should do here is, if you really want to bring in the conditional formatting here, you should bring into this same sheet, you should bring these values somewhere towards the extreme. Let's say in this location, I'll simply point all these values using a simple equal to, right? I'll just plot them for a temporary purpose, and I'll even highlight them with a white color so that no one can trace these values. Now what I'll do is I'll apply a conditional formatting on the top of this, where I'll write a simple rule, a formula based rule, which says this particular value greater than 70, and there I change the format of it, where I will fill it with a green color. I think this should work now. Is it the same green? Alright, unless I have the value here, I cannot really do anything big. So that's where for time being, alright, I think I am pointing to a wrong value. So let me go and manage the rule, do a proper editing. It's not M17. It is M16. So because I have plotted it one layer up. Yeah, now when I do and apply, it is working. Now the same way what I can do is, for these, the highest stuff, whatever is the parameter which will represent the highest for this person, I can very well change it using a conditional, or even in this, I should be able to add the other two rules also. So I'll simply say this M16 M16 is less than 40 applied to a red color. Let the font be in red color. Alright, otherwise I'll leave it to the default color. So the default color, let me plot it in orange itself. The font wise, let the default font be an orange font. And the same thing here also, let me make the default font to orange, and if required the top two I can, or any one value which is in the highest I can plot it, but otherwise it would be much better to look only at the overall figure, whether it is falling into the green, orange or any other color segment. So what you can very well do is try changing the name to someone else. He is also in that same green segment. Some other person, he has gone into the orange segment. Someone else is still in the orange segment. Only if the value is much less than what are the values? Yeah, 48.92. The average of these 6 numbers is looking out much better, right? So only some other person who probably may not have played much number of matches or something, so or I should change the criteria from 40 at least to 50. So I do a manage rule. Instead of saying less than 40, I make it less than 50, so that I get all kinds of colors for different players who are selected. Right, let me try out now. Yes, this person is in orange category, this person is still in the orange. Okay, not able to get the values. This person is in the red category. So depending on the kind of person we have chosen, he falls either into the orange or green, or right, this person moves into the green category and so on. So we see there are good number of people who will fall into each of these categories, and we can give an appropriate rating to those people. The overall rating for each of these people is given. Yes, now this is coming out much better, right? We get different kinds of calculations for different kinds of people. We can even change for different people the different kinds of combinations, different kinds of values, which will give me the better scoring for different kinds of people. So this is how this entire data is changing within the scope of the cell itself, and that's what makes this chart more and more usable. It is being plotted within the context of the cell itself, and that's where it's called as in-cell panel chart. Typically used for lots of comparative stuff, in which things we got a very high performance, in which areas need some kind of improvement. This kind of stuff can easily be plotted through these kind of charts. I hope this video on the in-cell panel chart created the good insight in terms of using the cell chart inside a cell, and the usage of formulas like percent rank and all, which uh, which were created, and percent rank kind of charts were created, and even this in-cell chart, and the use of conditional formatting to do the necessary formatting. I hope this video has explained all these things in clarity. If you have any more further queries on this, you can contact us on 919848012123, or you can drop in an email at vamsidhar@pacegurus.com. Request you to visit the website www.pacegurus.com for further updates on training, consulting, and videos in the areas of Excel, VBA, dashboards, and SPSS, statistical analysis in the areas of finance and analytics. Thanks a lot for listening to this video. Thank you very much. Bye bye.